This is probably the most beautiful book ever published. It's gorgeous. It was published by Ramagopal, and I wrote to you about it. And as soon as I wrote to you, it was sold out. But Ramagopal, I would love for you to dedicate this copy to me whenever you're somewhere near here. And I'd love for you, Ramagopal, to read a poem from your book. It's unbelievable, just touching it. Is he here?
Well, what happened is I kept getting messages in my email that he was there. He was there yesterday. He was there last night. He was there today at 1 o'clock, and he doesn't seem to be here now.
He is here. I see him on my screen.
Oh, are you there?
Yes, you need to. What you need? There he is.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. How much time I have?
Plenty.
Okay. I just want to tell you a couple of things. I also write books in Tamil. I have published 2 books. I just want to show you the covers. I don't want to take much time. This is one of the books. The first one, it is in Tamil. It is pronounced Avaloriti. Okay, it's very hard to translate that into English. This is in Tamil. And then the second book is Pudu Neelam. Okay, the first one is the one that I wrote when I was 18 or 19 years old and published in various literary journals in India. So I collected all those publications about 60 years later and then put those together. After I published, after I have written this book when I was in high school and first year college, I left literature completely. I went into science and I did not touch anything about stories or poems for another 40, 50 years. I didn't even read anything. I was completely in science. If I had to read something entertaining, I probably will browse through the Reader's Digest once in a while. That's all I did. So after several years, 30, 40 years, I tried to come back into literature after I had completed a little bit of my scientific quest. That's when I went, I started writing in both in English and Tamil go back. So during this 40 years, I did not have anybody to talk to in Tamil or anything. I didn't read anything in Tamil. And for some of you who may not know about Tamil, it is one of the oldest living languages in the world. So continuously living languages in the world. The literature of that language started about 3,000 years ago. And then the other language that you all know in India is Sanskrit, which is not spoken anymore. Nobody, it's like that Latin. But Tamil is spoken over 100 million people around the world still. One thing that you may want to remember is today the Tamil people have also gotten into the White House a few minutes ago. Kamala Harris, you may also know that her mother is a scientist. She's from India, but she is also a Tamil woman. She's also from China. But I don't think Kamala Harris knows anything about Tamil, just like my kids. When they went to India when they were small, 2 or 3 years old, they'll come back and babble in Indian language. But after they started school, they forgot everything. They don't speak, they don't understand. So even Kamala doesn't even pronounce her name correctly. It's not Kamala. It is Kamala. There are short vowels. The syllable, first two syllables are short syllables. The last one is a long one. So it's Kamala. so that is one of the things. That's one of the things that I want to, recite the poem, one poem that I want to, recite from my book. Is about the poem that I wrote in Village Stories, which is called Villanelle. Villanelle is a pastoral poem. In English, it is there are a lot of forms, not only ballad and sonnet. They also got from a Japanese haiku and from Mediterranean Urdu poem is ghazals, like that. Villanelle is a French form, and it is 19 lines long. It has 5 tercets, 3-line stanzas, and 1 quatrain, the last one. It has 2 refraining lines with the 2 rhymes. Throughout the poem, it has only 2 rhymes. Okay, so it's a pastoral poem. It's something about obsession. So we are all, America is concerned with the obsession about immigration, migrations. So in the book I have written, it is titled as Migrations, not Villanelle. So I put the Villanelle so that people will know what it is about. So I don't know why the title I gave that, but it's Migrations. Actually, I did not study language or literature. All I studied about literature was when I was in high school. When we go into science in Indian system, the British people, they established a system was that you study only science, no literature, no entertainment, everything science. All the subjects are science. So when I wrote poems in English, I did not know where. Yes, that's the one. That's the one, Villanelle. So when I did not know whether my poems were good or not, so I selected a publisher in India, an independent publisher, who is a professor of English. So I asked him, are they good enough to publish? So he said, okay, they are fine. So that's how this book came about. Okay. So it has 2 parts. Actually, it's 2 books in one. The first one is titled Firstborn Smiles. It's about family, about my experiments learning different forms of the English poetry, and about my philosophy of life. The second part is called November Meditations. That's about about my mind, experiments with my mind, simply to say that. So those are the two parts. About 75 poems totally there. So I will read the poem, which is this is a short poem. Okay, so that's the Villanelle in Village Stories, which is titled Migrations in my book. It's about human beings, migrations. We started as hunter-gatherers, and we all learned that 10 or 12,000 years ago, human beings discovered, invented agriculture, and then we settled. But invention has a secondary effect. It makes you run again. So we are still hunter-gatherers. We keep going. We keep migrating. So migration, we migrate, we learn new lullabies, and not our lullabies. We lose our lullabies, our native land. We learn new lullabies, and we go on. It's about that. So I'll read the poem. It's a short one. A grain of sand, drop of water can be piercing. In the realm of weight, fear of date, launching lullabies in new land shot. Webbing the orb with element it got, weaving the sky with paint it didn't. A grain of sand or drop of water can become prison. Folds apart, measuring waves and not, emanate lines, emanate lineage lines already bent, launching lullabies in new land sought incessantly. Imitate, then see poles and not. Leveling the wind, the lines soon couldn't find sand and water in transient balls. None invisible, none invisible. Gravitational transport ascended waves none. Why would late thought launch lullabies new? Gathering is scattering, apparently not. Wavering in dance would be infinitive can't. A grain of sand, drop of water can be preserved in other lullabies launched and bought. So I do have some more poems, some more books here. I want to thank you for the people who bought the books from Peggy to support our publishing house. And I do have a few more copies that I can spare. And if anybody is interested, they can contact Peggy or give me an email. My email is ramagopal@msn.com. They do have a lot of different sari class. They're all, the sari class were commissioned for each different types of sari class. So this one, I just show you this book here. Is this is the this color. Kamala Harris actually worn this color for years. So that color. So there is another one. We just saw one. Okay, there is another one. So every book is a different color, and there is another one different color. Yeah. So there is another green. There are blue, and there. So there, I have a few more copies left. If anybody is interested in getting one, let me know. As I said, and, that's about all I want to say.
Thank you. That was very beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
It's a beautiful book, and hey, you made us
Okay.
$125 because I said $25. So the publishing club is doing well. And so I'm wondering how you would like to spend our money. It's not a fortune, but think about it. We have about $1,300.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you, Ramagopal.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah.
It's a beautiful book. I think it's the most beautiful
Okay.
book I've
I
ever.
hope you like the poems. I hope
Yeah,
you like the poems.
Beautiful
Yeah.
poem. Yes. And I love the idea of migrations. And what a coincidence. I mean, here we have Kamala.
Yeah, so there are some more Stanley and James, going into
Kamala. You've taught us even how to say her name.
her full name is Kamala Devi, which is the
And that means lotus.
Kamala Devi, which is the other name for the goddess of learning, Saraswati, in the Indian mythology.
Wow.
So if you have here a name Saraswati, that's the Kamala is lotus. So Kamala Devi is the goddess in the lotus. So the name is actually Kamala Devi. rather
How
than.
appropriate.
So they call it. So,
And
but that's what
might
happens, you know.
even be president someday.
Yeah.
Go, Cammy.
Yeah, go Cammy. Kamala. Now we know.
A lot. Yeah. So it's. But in the Indian, the Tamil language is very easy to, very hard to learn. But you can read as it is written. It's no gimmick. You know, C-A-R, car, C-A-R-E, care. So it's not car, care, Y-C-A is car, Y-C-A is K. There is no gimmick. If you want to read Kamala, Kamala, that's it. Daya, you know, if it is Daya, Da, yeah, that's it, 2 letters. Like
Do
that.
you write sometimes in Sanskrit? Because
Kamala.
the Sanskrit is very close to Tamil. So I'm just wondering, do you ever write sometimes in Sanskrit language?
I learned a little bit of Hindi, but it's similar to Sanskrit. But I don't write in Sanskrit.
Okay, because Radha Krishnan had made translation of Bhagavad Gita, you know, from Radha Krishnan, a
Oh, Radha Krishnan, yes.
philosopher from South India.
Right. No, a lot of Tamil people that have learned, there are a lot of
So I just wonder if you do
scholars
some
are
work, if
right,
you
from India, Tamil
if you
Nadu.
do work. That's the reason I ask if you do some work in Sanskrit, because Bhagavad Gita is in Sanskrit, you know.
Right. Actually, the publisher of this my book in India, Professor Lal, he's a Sanskrit scholar too. He has recently, you know, before he died, he passed away about 2 or 3 years ago. Before he passed away, he translated the original Mahabharata, the 23 books
See.
from original Sanskrit into English.
Mhm.
So that's you can buy that from his website. It's very expensive,
Mhm.
and he made so he's a very good Sanskrit scholar, and but he is a professor of English.
That's
He was
good.
taught by Jesuit missionaries.
Mhm.
Sanskrit was taught by them rather than by Indians.
Yeah. I learned Sanskrit when I was a little girl.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
that's the reason I read
Oh,
the Bhagavad Gita in Sanskrit.
yes, yes. No, there are a lot of people. You know, there are a lot of scholars in Tamil Nadu from the south.
Yeah.
They are very good Sanskrit scholars, and you know, it's still taught in University of Madras. Sanskrit as a language. No, it's taught here, Berkeley. Berkeley, they taught.
Yeah.
Then they also teach Tamil
Mhm.
in Berkeley, University of Chicago, University of Pennsylvania, Harvard. You know, they teach all those
Mhm.
classical languages. And actually, one of the professors of Tamil in Berkeley, he graduated from Harvard University. His
Mhm.
thesis is on Tamil and Sanskrit. He went to part of his thesis was done in Boston at Harvard, and the other part was done in India, in Tamil Nadu. So he went to Madurai. That's where the Tamil literature was established
It is.
long time
Yeah,
ago.
Madurai is very beautiful place. Yeah.
Right. So he went there. He studied at Madurai University, and then he married a Tamil girl, and then he came to Berkeley, and they both teach Berkeley. You know, so he has written a book comparing the Sanskrit and Tamil.
Yeah.
That's his thesis for
Yeah.
PhD, and so it's like he's a Jewish community from Washington D.C.
Mhm.
And then he went to marry now Kamala Harris is a Tamil, but she married Jewish first first second person or whatever they call it. You know,
Wow.
it's a
So
dark story.
we're so lucky you migrated here, Ramagopal.
I like I am the first one to get into education in my family. They were all they were all farmers. This book here I wrote here, that's the farm that my farm where I grew up, and that's where I started writing poems, when I was 15, 16 years old.
So you've got the spirit of a poet, but the brain of a scientist.
I don't know.
Good combination.
Yeah.
So anyway, next month, next February, our speaker will be Alan Rankin, who's published several fiction books and has a lot of experience in publishing. And the following month, March will be Teresa Keegan. And we love her because we get to write when she's our facilitator. So I guess it's time to go. And of course, thank you, Susie, and thank you, Ramagopal.